This is NBBC.
G'day folks, my name is David Jackson Wills and I'd like to tell you a little story if I may. Recently went down to Melbourne because we had a bit of a problem with our family. Our poor son, who's just opened a restaurant in Melbourne called Serafina. It's in Hawthorn. It's a great place. We love it to bits. But sadly, after working for 3 months, he fell down the stairs, cracked a couple of ribs. It was time for Dad to go down and give him a hand because he also had to move house in addition to all the work he had to do at the restaurant. But it was all put into perspective when on the way back I came via Thredbo. Got my hat on just to show you that I've been via the mountains because it's an area that we used to work and live in. But I had the wonderful privilege of getting a chance to interview and chat to a very, very special man who's been in Australia since the late 40s, early 50s, a gentleman called Tomasi. Now, Tommy was responsible for introducing ski patrol to Australia, and now if you go to any of the resorts in the snowy mountains, if you fall over or hurt yourself, ski patrol will come and rescue you fairly quickly. That's all due to Tommy that started ski patrol here. But nobody to this date that I know of has actually chatted to him about what he did before he came to Australia. He was born up in the mountains in northern Italy, but of course when war broke out in 1939, he was 17 years old, a 17-year-old boy. He went and fought for the Partisans against the fascists, against the Nazis. And also, you know, as I say, it puts it all into perspective. We thought we'd had a problem with our Sam falling down the stairs, but this man, Tommy, was tortured, captured and tortured by the Gestapo, and I wanted to find out more of his life when he was in Italy before he got to Australia. So I was very lucky, sat down, had a chat to him, and this is what came out of it. Let's go and have a look and have a listen to what Tommy has to say. And you know, I've known you for a long time, but I don't think we never really sort of chatted in any.
No, I don't think we have had a long chat together or something like that.
No, but I know your sons very well, so obviously I stay in touch with Mick and Peter, and I talk to them all the time. So I know a little bit about your background, but I didn't find out a lot about it until we had a chat with Dave Coombs last night. And he was just telling us what you told him, and I just thought, this is incredible. I mean, I know you come from Italy.
Yeah.
But whereabouts in Italy were you born?
I come from Lombardy.
Lombardy.
That's the Lombardia.
Lombardia.
Yeah, that's on the Swiss border.
Oh, so you're in the north? Is it the north?
From right up the mountain.
Yeah.
The city is Bergamo.
Yeah.
But I'm up in the valley in Valseriana.
Valseriana sounds beautiful. Is it a lovely place up there?
Valseriana and Val Brembana, the two valleys from Bergamo.
Yeah, and that's where you grew up.
That's where I was born, in Alzano Lombardo.
And you went to school up there? And,
I went to school there, the primary, and then the high school in Bergamo.
Yeah.
Until the war broke in.
Yeah. So what was I going to say? What year were you born? What year?
1926.
Only 26. So you'd have been how old when the war broke out?
I was 17.
17. Yeah. Okay.
Anyhow, that's when Mussolini has been re-freed by the German, because Mussolini has been captured.
Yeah.
But the German managed to get it back, and that's when he formed the Republic, the north of Italy, not the south, because the south was the American and the British and the Polish coming up.
Yeah.
And the Italian, of course, the partisan. So consequently, you had no choice. Either join them or go against it.
Yeah.
So to be a good boy, like I always thought I was with Mum and Dad, I asked Dad, I said, Dad, what should I do? My father did not open his mouth. He just, the big rifle that we used to go hunting, gave me is a Moser, a big gun.
Yeah.
He said, get up there.
In the mountains?
In the mountain. That's what the partisan, we were moving around from that, wherever we had to do.
Yeah.
And so I went up there, joined, and was quite a few of my friends that they were at school, not real top friends, but we knew each other.
People you knew, yeah.
So it was nice to see that I wasn't the only one. You wouldn't believe it, 3 of them, the first action we had, they got caught by the mortar. The
really?
German used a mortar. That's the one that exploded downwards, not up.
Yeah.
And they copped it,
And
killed them the first time.
The first skirmish you had, 3 of your friends were killed. Yeah.
Killed straight there.
Yeah.
And I said, and that's when I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I was a little reluctant to pull a trigger.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I said, well, that's the game you want to play. Fair. And I make up my money.
Yeah.
Tooth by tooth.
Yeah.
And you do it.
Well, you don't have
Whoever is the lucky.
You don't have much choice, do you? I suppose.
No, you had no choice whatsoever.
Either you kill some of them, or they're going to kill you.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
There is no. You couldn't discriminate, or thinking about the bugger that you got in front of you that you're going to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
You don't like to think of that.
Yeah.
And he does the same, I suppose. He doesn't think about my parents or something.
No.
So whoever is the quickest
is the one who survives. Yeah.
the one that survives.
Can I just ask you, because I was a bit confused there. I thought when war broke out that automatically the Italians were on the side of the Germans. So was Mussolini actually in power
Mussolini
was
He
was
Victor
in power in
Emmanuel,
1939.
heir king,
Yeah.
he make a big mistake
Yeah.
to let Mussolini run the country.
Right, because Mussolini was a fascist, wasn't he? Really?
Oh, it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a nasty one too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did a lot of good things while he was in power, when he felt himself settled well, that he can do anything.
Yeah.
And as I said, that's where the king make a big mistake, to give him a white card.
Yeah.
Say, go ahead.
So the king appointed him as leader of the government.
But he jumped in very quickly, and it was a nasty solution.
Yeah.
Mussolini was with all his cigar, with all his top men, to capture the Italian population. If they knew that somebody was against the fascists, they used castor oil. They opened his mouth and fill it up with castor oil.
Oh God, really?
That's how he got in power. Use the castor oil on all people that he want to get.
So what do they do? They drown with that, do they? Or?
Yeah, well, not only that, it's some they die because it's too much, it's too strong.
Yeah.
You know, they pour it in with a bottle, not like a little glass.
Yeah.
But that's how he got in, one way that he got in.
Yeah.
And he split Italy altogether.
Yeah.
He did. We already had a friction all the way. The Calabrian, Sicilian, and the North, we don't get on very well.
No.
Only because, you go back to history, all the Calabrian particularly, they all mixed with the Greek.
Yeah.
The old fishermen, they used to go to Greece and pinch the woman, bring her back and marry.
Is it?
So, that's, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So they create their own type or brand of people, because you can actually see it. You walk in Calabria, they're all short like I am, but black hair and different nostril, different temple. It's just a slightly, it's got more than a Greek head than the Italian head. And but that's got nothing to do.
Well, that's the world over, though, isn't it?
So that's a mixer now. Look here. Good example now. They shoot each other over there by the thousand and boom. And here they go around with a flag and go protect this. Whoever. That's not wrong.
No. This happened in Spain as well. Spanish.
Oh,
Spanish Civil War before the Second
I'm
World
afraid
War.
he could have. And as I say, I was very lucky. But I think I had to cut it down to come back to what you want to do now. Um, like when I returned back home. Oh, by the way, that one is a must, I must tell you. Apparently, Mum and Dad, they've been advised that I've been shot
All right.
or killed in Germany. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how they can prove that because we had the medallions, and they always been quite good on that. Vice in both sides. If you die, you're an Italian, they take the thing and they give it to the Italian.
The dog tags, yeah.
Yeah. But I come back, I didn't advise anybody. I decided to skip the American, thank you very much, mate. They paid me off whatever they owe me.
Yeah.
And it was good money, actually. And so I got paid off, and I said, that's it. And off I went, and we went through Switzerland. And when we arrived in Zurich, in the station, with a German train, only cattle truck, no fancy vehicles.
No bus with seats.
No. And anyhow, when I get back to Milan, from there to Milan, I got an Italian train. They take all the Italian into Milan.
Yeah.
That's to spread them out. But you had to go through quickly on that. They won't let you go home until you got you registered
that card,
that you're back,
Yeah.
you're alive and looking
you're
right.
a returned soldier, yeah.
And I did that, and I spent about a couple of hours. I was supposed to wait until they give you that.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize, I didn't know that they tell Mum and Dad that I was dead.
So your mother and father didn't think you were coming back?
No, they thought that I was dead.
Oh, goodness.
Anyhow, I'm walking down, coming out from that office, which is down in Bergamo, on the main street.
Yeah.
He's an ex-fascist pavilion, and the parties are moving on that.
Yeah.
For after the war, of course.
Yeah.
And when I left there, walking down the street, going to the train that take you up to Albino, where I live up in the valley, this friend of mine just come across and said, Jesus, Tommy said, oh, Ferruccio, whatever.
Yeah.
He said, you're alive. Yeah. I said, did Mum and Dad know you? Did you go home? I said, no. So he said, you better stay with my Mum and Dad for a night or two, and I'll break the news to Mum and Dad. And he went up to Albino and said, have a guess, Mr. Tomasi, what come across in the street? He said, your son.
Oh, wow.
He said, Jesus, he's alive? He said, where is he? He's in Bergamo with my mother.
Yeah.
He said, go and get him and bring him up straight away.
Yeah.
And that's it. But as soon as I got there, he wouldn't believe it. The reaction of some of the... In Albino, is small, was 13,000 the population.
The village,
There was about 75,000. But anyhow, it was the reaction straight away. He said, oh, Tomasi is back. He said, I suppose there is another partisan, ex-partisan. He said, we better warn some of the
fascists.
The fascists. Or people that they don't like the idea of the partisan. You know, we were loved.
But this is after the war's finished.
Oh that's what's pissed
So there was still that animosity between the two different factions.
Well, it was, and we had American there in Bergamo, in the city, as a representative.
Peacekeepers.
We had the Pommy, we had the British there. And anyway, so I said, where should I get some information? He said, I want to hear it myself. So I went to a bar where I used to go and play billiards.
Yeah.
And that's where all my mates used to congregate. Yeah. And I said, what's cooking? Can you put me up to date? Who is alive still? Or the one that we know that were dead fascist?
Yeah.
And how many? How many of the old one? He said, because a week after I was there, I got a letter from a secret fascist party.
Yeah.
And they say, Tomasi or Ferruccio Tomasi say, you got very little to live. You're on the list.
Well, were the fascists coming after you?
Yeah, oh yeah, they come after. They want to pay back the other way.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So what should I do? I went straight back to the office, and I walk in with a letter.
Yeah.
And I said, look at this. And the chap that was in charge at the office said, oh, he said, you're not the only one. We all got one.
Yeah.
And I said, what should I do? You know what he did? Exactly as I do it now. You open the drawer, get a new Beretta, pistol.
Gun. Yeah.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Shoot first. and I said, Jesus.
And the war's,
I mean,
the war's over.
The war's over.
But you still want to shoot
you've got to
each
be joking. I said, what sort of life you live?
Yeah.
That's when I make up my mind, there and then.
Yeah.
And I said, can you give me an advance departure?
Yeah.
I like to go. I got a permit to go to Australia.
Yeah.
No problem. But when it comes to get the passport, that's when I had problem.
Yeah.
Because amongst the actual uniformed policemen and the immigration department, they were all fascists.
Fascists, yeah, yeah. So you've got to try and get
They
past
changed
them.
the colour of the shirt from a black one.
Yeah.
They put a pink one or whatever,
Yeah.
or a jumper.
Yeah.
But inside, they
Yeah.
thicker, still
Fascist.
a fascist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was glad when I got the passage, I got the money, I go across the border to get, I asked Dad, I said, Dad, I think I have to go away. Oh, he said, no, you can't. You got to look after. Typical Italian family. The older of the family, the young one, they stay behind to look after Mum and Dad.
Yeah.
I said, I'm afraid I'm going to be the first Tomasi black sheep,
Yeah.
because I'm going to break that sequence. I'm going on that boat and I'm going to Sydney. Oh, to Australia anyhow.
Yeah.
And the day after I went to Genoa at the port, the Toscana, the boat was there.
Yeah.
An old jalopy full of migrants and Jewish
Yeah.
people that they were in Italy. You see, that's the funny part, that some of the Jewish that come into Italy from Hungary, Yugoslavia or wherever during the war, the Italian they look after. Mussolini said, I'm not killing Jewish and I don't want anything to do. You want the prisoner, you can take her back to Germany. Not here.
Well, he looked after the Jewish.
He looked after.
Oh, he did do something right then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
But it was so confusing that anybody, even a real smart one, he had to sit down like I did and think about exactly, did I do the right things?
Yeah.
Am I ready to do it?
Yeah.
Would I miss Mum and Dad? You have to put it all there. But then I said, no, I think I'm ready. I know that what I want to go in a different country. If they don't like me, I'll buzz off, I'll go to another country.
Yeah.
And that's what I make up my mind to do.
Yeah. But at the time, when you were making this decision at the time, and you knew you had to leave, otherwise somebody was either going to shoot you or you were going to shoot somebody.
Oh, otherwise you don't know what's happened.
Did you think that you would never see your mum and dad again?
No. No.
So you always had faith that you'd see
I
your family?
always have a fight that the war, as far as I concerned, personally,
Yeah.
for me it was over.
Yeah.
But it became a tricky one because it wasn't my decision to do that.
No.
They start to play up like mad. And,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not toys. We're human beings.
Yeah.
You finish, the war is finished, that's it. Don't pull trigger anymore.
No.
But that one doesn't exist.
No. What? How old were your parents at this stage? How old were they?
Dad was 64.
So fairly young.
Mum, she was a bit younger, about 58, 57.
Yeah.
I got older, they were, but that's how old.
But the next thing I want to ask you is, did you get back to see them?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so you
here
did see
now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been taking ski tours for 16 years.
Oh, right, to Italy.
Yeah, to Europe.
Yeah.
But I always go 2 weeks early and stay with mum and dad.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I knew that the travel plan, all the group, part of the group, they are on a flight due to land in Geneva or Zurich.
Yeah.
It depends where we were going.
Yeah.
Always take Geneva first because I used to go to Val d'Isère.
Yeah.
And it's the closest one to get to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because from Val d'Isère back to Verbier in Switzerland.
Verbier,
from Verbier up to Cortina, the Italian one.
Yeah.
After Cortina up to Zeus or St. Anton or Innsbruck.
Yeah.
Depends at the sea.
What about your mum and dad? Did they ever come out here?
No.
Did they not want to come out to see you in Australia?
No. Mum and dad, Dad was quite bright man. Dad was a station master.
Yeah.
He's been a station master for Milan. Milan is a big station.
This is on the trains, yeah?
Railway.
Yeah.
But they become too confusing when they start to get all the electronic system.
Yeah.
And he said no. So he resigned from there and go on a private railway. They go up in my valley.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And he became a station master on that too.
Like a tourist train?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what's happened there. Of course, was a heck of a trip. 35 days on the boat from Genoa to Fremantle.
Yeah.
I said, I gotta get out of here. I wasn't going. I didn't like to go to Sydney. I had paid for it.
Yeah.
I jump out.
So you got off at Fremantle.
In Fremantle.
In West Australia, yeah.
Immigration department, of course, they were there in force.
Yeah.
Because they're all migrants on it.
Yeah.
There was a lot that come off there.
Yeah.
But you're laughing at this one because actually I damaged myself. I'll tell you how. But when I got to the migration, first thing they say, you got your new passport? I said, yeah, here it is. Italian citizenship, Tomasi, for Ferruccio Tomasi, whatever. And I said, what are you going to do? He said, I got no contract. I said, I bought the ticket myself. I consider myself like a tourist.
Yeah.
But I like to settle here. Mm-hmm. I believe you got an open door for the migrants to come.
Yeah.
So I am a migrant. Put me in on that door.
Yeah.
Oh, he said, would you like to, it's 2 jobs only for the new migrant. With the railway, to change slippers.
Yeah.
I said, you gotta be joking. 110 degrees with the lasers and everything. No way.
Yeah.
And the other one, he said, the gold mine. I said, oh shit. A gold mine, I said, okay. You wouldn't believe it. That one, you heard that story before. I was thirsty. I had an Italian suit on with big shoulders and a pure moustache. I walk in a bar in Fremantle, and I got straight to the bar. And the girl behind the bar, she said, yes, love. I said, Jesus Christ. I said, I just landed. They called me love already. I said, that'll do me. But anyhow, next to me was these 2 guys, big guys, tall. Oh, they would have squashed me. But I say, where are you from? I say, Italy. Oh, he turned to his mate and said, it's another Dego. I said, I don't know what Dego is. He said, what is it? Oh, he said, anybody that come from Italy and Greece, Yugoslavia, Czechia, France, they all walk. Well, I said, what's that mean? Well, they gave me something to do, like animal group or something. So I don't know. But anyhow, I don't care what you call me. So, and I said, where do you come from? Exactly. I said, I come from Lombardy in Italy on the Swiss border. I said, but now I'm here. And well, he said, what would you like to do? You going to the railway? I said, no. Good boy. I am a miner. Go up to Kalgoorlie.
Yeah.
And when you get there, you see a man with a white helmet. That's a supervisor. Go to see him and tell him that you work in the mine, you want a job. And I did. But I thought the Gulia, it was like from Surf to like Mosman and North Sydney. Yeah. I thought it was a suburbs.
Yeah.
And I went down to the railway to buy the ticket, and I looked on the map. They had the map all around.
And you saw it was...
And it's right up. Right. I said, holy Jesus. Leonora is 500 miles away.
Yeah.
That's where I went, to Leonora. They told me, forget about Kalgoorlie, they're too big, the mine.
Yeah.
The Leonora is the rich one.
Yeah.
It's the deepest one, but it's well run. I said, look, I'm not a miner, so I don't care. So when I got the supervisor, eventually, he said, no problem. He took me to the store, flannelette shirt, heavy pants, boots with the steel cap, the battery with the lamp, the helmet. He set me up and said, come on, I'll take you there. The buggers, he took me to the last level, 32 level.
33rd level?
33rd level.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I said, holy Jesus. So when I get there, you're laughing at this one. When I got there on the bottom, I said, now, what should I do? He said, you see all the grid there? That girder, metal girder, go from one side to the other. And when the trolley come with a little loco and the horses, they dump the rock that doesn't go through. Here you are. That's what you gotta do. Here's the hammer, break it until I said, you gotta be joking. Some of them, they were a big lump of rock.
You gotta break it up with a hammer.
You gotta break it up. Yeah. And I said, no. I said, I'm not doing that, I'm sorry. He said, well, you asked for a job. I said, that's the job. Okay. I said, I got my way to break the rock. He said, give me a few sticks of jelly and show you how. And he said, can you use a jelly? Oh yeah. I said, during the war I blow up anything that moves. And the guy just said, are you pulling my legs or what? No, I said, I was a partisan and I've been blowing up bridges, yeah. I've been blowing up a railway, I've been blowing up a few buildings. Yeah. I said, all by yourself? No, I said, with the group, partisan group.
Yeah.
Well, he said, they said, you become a powder monkey. Yeah. That's what I said, what's that? He said, the man that is very familiar with gelignite or any explosive. I never had to use a hammer once, never used anything. I'm just waiting until the Italian or whoever they were, Yugoslav, finished drilling. Yeah. They used to call me to go and charge.
So you were loading all the holes with gelignite or dynamite?
Yeah,
Were they using dynamite in those days? Was that still?
Oh.
Or was that old fashioned?
No. Still. Yeah. My 95%. Yeah, a lot of nitroglycerin in it, and it's a mixture. Yeah. Very touchy.
Well, you can't have shaky
and even
hands,
you can't even touch it because if you rub your face, you got a shocking headache.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Any stick of jelly, don't touch it.
Yeah.
After these messages, we'll be right back.